Hey guys, welcome back to the DCDS YouTube channel. It's great to see you all again. So, what we're going to do this time is we're going to be checking out the C major scale on the guitar. I have done this on the keyboard in a previous tutorial. So if you guys play like the keyboard or the piano and you want to check that out, you can go back further in the channel and you can check out the C major scale and some other scales as well on the keyboard. We are going to be doing all the scales that we've learned on the keyboard. We're going to be transferring over to the guitar now. So we're going to start off with the C major scale. The reason we're starting off with C major is because it's just such an easy one. So many musicians or music teachers that you come across will say that it's such an easy, good one to start with because they're all just normal notes. There's no sharps, there's no flats or anything like that in the C major scale. So it's just a really nice, comfortable one to start off with, and then you can branch out to the other ones from there. So C major. So you'll have heard me say this in if you've seen any of my other tutorials. Because it's C major, we take the letter of the note that's in the name, in this case C, because it's C major. We take the note C, and that's what we call the root note. Okay, that's the note that we're going to start at, and then we're going to progress through the scale from that point. If it was a D major scale, we'd be starting at D. If it was G major, we'd start at G. If it was A major, we'd start at A. You see where I'm going with this? But we're doing the C major scale, so we're starting at C. So what we're going to do is, now these notes are positioned all over the guitar, but I'm going to show you an easy one to do, okay? We can maybe check out the other ones in a later video. We're going to start using a C note on the bottom E string, okay? Now the reason why we call it the bottom E string is because there's two E's. There's two E strings. That's at the two extremes of your strings. So if I hold this close up, you can see this one here is an E string up here, and the one at the bottom here, I don't know if you guys can see that, the one at the other end of the strings is also an E string. Now the weird thing about this is the low pitch E string we call we call bottom E, and the high pitch one we call top E. Now the reason is just because of that pitch, but they're positioned the opposite way around. So the bottom E is actually positioned at the top of all your strings, okay, and the top E is positioned at the very bottom. So we're going to be using the bottom E at the top. So what we're going to do, we're going to work our way down from the top down to C, because it's a C major scale, okay? Now all you need to remember for this is the notes B and E don't have sharps, okay? So that's all you need to remember for this, for making sure that you get to the right note. So if we play it open without pressing down on the fretboard, if we just play it open, we've got E, okay? And then all we're going to do, we're going to press down on the first fret. Now remember, E doesn't have a sharp, so that's going to be F. Down to the next fret, F sharp. Next one is G. Next one is G sharp. Next one is A. Next one is A sharp. Next one is B. Now remember, B doesn't have a sharp, so the next one is going to be the one we're looking for, C. Okay, so if I hold that close up for you guys to see there. Okay, there. So I'm trying to get like a good angle from, so you can see the full fretboard. Okay, so we're working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frets down on the bottom E string, okay? So we've got our C there. That's our root note because, like I said, it's C major. Then we're going to move down to D. Okay, so we're going to move down to D. So that goes, the next fret is C sharp down to D here on the next fret. Okay, so we've gone C there. Skip that one down to the next one is D. Then we're going to go to E. So we're going to skip past D sharp down to E. Now, just as a little side note, a little interesting thing for you guys to make sure that you are actually in the right place. Obviously, like I said before, the open string, when you're not actually pressing down on the string, we just play it open, that's E. So when you get down to this fret, if you can see it with the two dots on there, when you get to there, that should also be E when you're pressing down on that fret, okay? Because we've moved a full octave, or octave, or whatever you want to call it. I call it octave. So don't worry too much about the terminology just now. I will go into that another time. It's just for if you know what an octave is, then we've moved down a full octave. So yeah, so far we've gone C, D, E. Now remember, E doesn't have a sharp, so we're just going to move down to the next fret, which is F. Okay. Now then, what we could do, if we wanted to, we could just keep on working our way down the frets, but that's going to start getting ridiculous when we get down to like about here. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to go from F here, and we're actually going to move to the next string. Okay, so we're going to go onto the next string. Now remember, we're not working with sharps in this scale, so it's going to go to G. Okay, now this second string, I hold that closer. Oh, where are we? There we go. So we're working on the second string now. Okay, that's an A string. So if we play it open, that'll be A. Okay. If we press down on the first fret, that's going to be A sharp. Down to the next one is B. B doesn't have a sharp, so we're going to move to the next one, which is C. Down to the next one, which is D. Then D sharp. Then E. E doesn't have a sharp, so we're moving on to F. Then on to F sharp. Now, if you guys remember, on the last string, we stopped at F. Okay, so continuing on from F, we want G. Okay, so we're going to go F sharp down to G. So I'm now on this fret here. So that's the second string, your A string, second string from the top, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On the 10th fret, okay? So we've got our G, okay? And then we're moving down to A. Okay, now just like before, because when the string is played open, when we're not pressing down on the string, it's A. So when we press down on the fret with the two dots, that's also an A. Okay, that's just like I say, kind of a side note. It doesn't really come into play too much with this, but it's just if you're working with like octaves and things like that, it's just a nice little indicator to have there. So yeah, we've played G, A, and then we're going to skip past A sharp onto B, which then lands us back. Again, B doesn't have a sharp, so the next fret again will be C. So we've gone round from C all the way to C. So just to kind of clear up any confusion, let's get away all those like messy other notes that we were looking at and just look at the scale. Okay, so so we've got our C, work your way down from the top, E down, work your way down to C. Remember, E and B don't have sharps, so just work your way down to C from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8th fret, first string, your E string at the top. Okay, so we're going to go C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, so your G, A, and B, you're going to be playing on your second string. Okay, so just remember each note, just in case you haven't got this, each note, whether it's just a letter or it's a letter and a sharp, is a fret. Okay, so each fret counts as either the letter or the sharp. So like I was saying, it goes like if we're pressing down on here, that's F. Then the next one will be F sharp, the next one will be G, the next one will be G sharp, the next one will be A, the next one will be A sharp, the next one will be B, B doesn't have a sharp, so then you're moving on to C. Okay, so each fret counts as one of your notes. Okay, so let me sit down here for a second and put this down a little bit. So here we go. So I should have done this to begin with. I don't know why I was standing up. Okay, and I'm just using one finger to kind of slide around. If you wanted to get really, really fancy, you could be kind of walking your fingers along and that sort of thing. But we're just going to keep it simple for now, okay? So yeah, so we're starting off at our C note. So C, D, E, F. Oh, wrong string. F. I'm messing everything up now, guys. Let's try that again. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay? And once you kind of get comfortable with those notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, once you get comfortable with those, we can start looking at playing like little tunes with them. I have done a video on this, not using the entire C major scale, literally using C, D, E, and F. Okay, so only using the bottom E string. You'll see me do like a little thing on there for kind of moving around. It'll sound a little bit like this. Where are we? Okay, so I'm just using that C, D, E, and F notes. But what you can do is you can start doing like extra notes on the same, like picking up the string multiple times, even when you're on the same fret. So for example, when I play the C note of that little tune I just did, I do like 2 notes. I go, and then I go down to the next one, and then I go down to E, and then down to F for 1 note. Okay, so it goes. Okay, so you don't always just have to play like 1 note on each fret. You can stick around and play like a little extra note or 2 on the same fret. So like I say, I'm going to do this like on like loads of scales, not just the C major. We're going to look at like A major, B major, D major, E, F, G, and then all the minor chords as well, and other sorts of scales to kind of get you walking around a little bit more. But what I might do in the other tutorials that I do, I'm going to kind of recap over this, okay? But for now, I'm going to give you like a little tip that you can work on, okay? So you're not having to memorize all sorts of letters and things like that. We have like a little technique. Now it's up to you guys what you want to call it, okay? You can either call them tones and semitones or steps and half steps. I'm going to call them tones and semitones, okay? So whenever you're doing a major scale, you have your root. If you remember back to the start of this video, I said that the root note is whatever note comes up in the name. We were doing the C major scale, so our root note was C. And then from that point, it goes tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone for your major scales, okay? Now, a semitone is another way of saying a fret, okay? So that's like if you're on the same string, it means just another fret, okay? So each fret counts as a semitone as we're working our way down. A tone or a full step is 2 frets. So you skip past one and move to the next, okay? So let's just recap the C major scale a second. I'm just going to do it on the E string, the top one, at the very top, just to kind of give you an idea of this. So, where are we? So we're starting out our root note C, and then it goes tone. So we're skipping past 1 fret. So we've got a tone there. Then another tone, which sounds as E. Then semitone, because it goes root, tone, tone, semitone. So F now. And if we want to, let's just use the E string for everything here, just to keep it simple. So then you're going to go tone again, because it goes root, tone, tone, semitone, tone. So we're going to go down a tone, 2 frets, another 2 frets, because it's another tone, another 2 frets because it's another tone, and then 1 more fret because it's a semitone. Okay, so we go root, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And this is what I was getting at before about moving to like the moving to the next string, because by the time you get down there it's getting like kind of ridiculous to kind of fit your hand on there and everything. So that's why we kind of moved to the next string class. But I hope you guys have found that tutorial a little bit helpful and not too confusing. Like I say, if it is a little bit confusing, maybe check out the keyboard tutorial that I've done, because it's the same rules. Okay, it's still that root, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, and you're still going C, D, E, F, G, A, B through your scale, but it's a little bit clearer to understand through the keyboard tutorial, and then you can just transfer that across to the guitar. Okay, but I hope that's helped you guys out a little bit. If you do have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments. I'm not sure if my comments are going to be disabled, because I think it's getting disabled quite a lot at the moment, because of like the sorts of videos I'm putting out are pretty like child friendly and things like that. They're really simple tutorials. There's gaming videos like Minecraft and things like that. I think I'm having to like disable my comments. But if you look on the banner at the top of my channel, you'll see that there's like a little icon for our Instagram. It's either Instagram or Twitter, I can't remember, and our Facebook page as well. So I can be reached over there as well if you have any questions or anything like that. Please feel free to ask. Okay, I know there's like a lot of tutorials on YouTube, because I used to come across them myself when I was trying to learn, and you're just trying to figure out what they're getting at with all the terminology and things like that. And you're just trying to figure out, and it can get like pretty frustrating when you can't understand. If you do have questions and I'm not making sense, please do message me, because I will simplify it down. I know, like I was just saying, some of my audience is a little bit younger. Get your mums and dads to contact me. Again, they'll be able to, if they're on Facebook or anything like that, your parents will be able to contact me, and I can do like a simpler tutorial or give like a more in-depth explanation in the next video that I make. So thanks very much for dropping in, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you've all enjoyed and found that a little bit informative. And I'll see you guys in the next one.